Universal Interactive Studios production.
All right.
A game created and developed by Naughty Dog.
Let's just get this party going.
Crash Bandicoot 4. Press start.
It's interesting. I mean, if you just want to talk about whatever you want to talk about, hey, 88%. I didn't even realize I was already at 88%. I first want to do something else, just really quickly. It makes no sense. You know, that's not what I want to do. Okay, 666 pixel times 606. Now I go to filters in GIMP, I go to render, I go to pattern, I go to checkerboard. And now I choose a color. Okay. Like do it a bit more greenish. No, I actually want to stay like this. I'm going to turn it a little bit darker. Yeah. This I want to be purple though. Alright. And this I want to be a bit less big. Alright. I'm going to export it. Recently used YouTube 2023. Yeah, just going to name it Untitled PNG. Compression level 9. Just reduces the file size. Close the window, discard changes. Go to OBS. Insert image. Alright. Browse. Go to videos, go to YouTube 2023, go to Untitled, press OK. This is where you can see it. Now we have to put it one down. I have to reduce the size. And then adjust it that it fits. And then I also have to adjust this that it fits. Right. So there are a couple of things that I think I may want to talk about. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it in red. Okay. I'm gonna turn off the screen. I'm gonna start having a sip of my coffee. Okay. Oh wow. Start feeling alive. Now load. So yesterday I've been watching Donnie Darko. You know, it's weird, but you actually never really take time to engage with these characters. I used to do it, right? I would just do this for hours on end. When I get bored, I mean, what's hours? Okay, I have to check. Yeah. Just start with the stuff. Oh wow, wait a second. Wait a second. I first want to check something because I'm not quite sure which of these I already did. Yeah, I like wearing that hat. Yesterday I watched Donnie Darko. And I liked it. I mean, I already watched it 3 or 4 times, I think. Okay, this one I already have, but that's the one, not the time trial. Here I have the time trial, but not these two. And this one is still hidden from me. Future Frenzy. Okay. I'm first gonna do the time trial just for completeness. Because I realized it last time. Yeah, just pause. I think I'm gonna manage. Okay, wait until the second one is red and then hit. And then you're gonna make this start. And I think I'm going to try to get everything in gold, actually. And I've told you before that I have the feeling that I have been taken out of life as normal people live it. And I have said to people before that I have the feeling I have already died. So I have the feeling I'm not who I used to be. Which is not a bad thing, it's just a challenge. A fairly tough challenge at that, but a challenge nonetheless. Because if you have the feeling you are no longer who you once were, then who do you need to be now? Whoa, I missed that one. Oh, whoa. I have no idea how fast I have to be here. Then, whoa, shit. Right, so who do you need to be? Well, who can you be, right? That's... Who can you be? He seems so slow. Who can you be? Well, beats me. Beats me. I also want to have... Let's see. Nope. Requires 25, which is why if I have 4 here... If I have 4 here... Okay, let's do this. If I have 4 here and 1 in the other one, I actually already have 25. Right, and now... See you leave. Sweet. I'm not overly sure. Now, I'm just trying to tell you what it is like Okay, I'm just gonna make sure here. I think I have to take these. I'm actually gonna play this entire game again, I think. Yeah. Okay, who can you be? Who would you like to be? Well, this is me connecting with my childhood self. Right, this is me connecting with my childhood love. Love! Okay, I think I have to go all the way through now. Back. This is just a guess. I don't think I've ever made it. Okay. That far. I'm actually not sure how I'm supposed to do this. Ah, you see? This is because it's a special route. So this is waiting at the end so you can go all the way to the back and then continue. Now it was good that I took that checkpoint. Oh, damn it. Oh, damn it. This is insane. This is insane. What route is this? Do you remember? Okay. That actually gave me a chance. I want to check something. Just want to check something real quick. Let's just check it. Cheerio. Like, I'm just trying something here. Like, it's not like I simply like playing this game. You have to understand always what place, you know, I'm just gonna see what's gonna happen. You always have to understand of what place am I talking to you from. Right. What place? Yeah. You see, you don't actually have to do this like that. Especially not after you've been given the bazooka. Yeah, what I'm trying to see now, if there's this crystal route. Like, it's not like I simply love playing computer games. I just have to feel like I want to do this. And this is not about, you know, I just want to do this because it's so nice. This is something I feel like I owe myself. Okay. Okay, now I know I have this already. So I also know... Yeah, I'm just gonna take it from here. Because I'm not in a rush. I mean, I've already created all the content. I've already created all the content until the middle of December, end of December. Which is why I can be a bit more relaxed about it now. Which is nice. But it's also still a challenge because you wake up and other than the fact that I'm super you know, I have a lot of strength, I have a lot of power, I know I can hold my own space. I know I can hold my own space in a ceremony, right? I know I can do a lot of things, but at the moment none of these things are relevant to me. What I mean with that is they're not relevant in the sense that, all right, I have a lot of abilities and I want to help, but you know, now I know I just have to get all the crates and then I'm done. And then I can just go back. So I want to help, I want to contribute, but at the moment I can't do shit. So what I can do is figure out who am I. You know, let's just assume there is a revolution. A peaceful revolution. That wants to heal. You know, I'm not talking about, you know, let's go on the streets and set things on fire, because I've also watched The Joker. And to be honest, just the feeling that I got from watching The Joker was already disgusting. You see, 133 from 133. It doesn't even fit on the screen anymore. Just want to make sure, oh yeah, that's where you start. And now I can just rush back and try not to die. Well, it should be fairly simple at this stage. And that's a major accomplishment. Okay, I watched The Joker, and I get it. I understand how he feels, yeah. I think we all feel like that to a certain degree. But that does not give you the right to simply go around and be an asshole about it. Because we all have problems. And what I saw in The Joker was, you know, he sits there and he says, Murray, right? He feels like he's the one who's being cheated, right? Of being a comedian, of, you know, he wants to stand on the stage because mommy told me, you know, I'm super nice. You know how that guy is? He's like that guy from Silence of the Lambs. You know, he wants to go, right? He wants to go over the street. The traffic light clearly says it's red. But he wants to go because I want to go now. I want to go now, you know, I want to be a woman. Yeah. And so he goes anyway. And if something goes wrong, you know, it's not his fault. No, no. It's the other one. You know, it's their fault because they should have stopped. You know, that's a God complex. Who do you think is gonna stop for you if you're not willing to stop for others? And that's the whole idea of empathy, right? I mean, I acknowledge... Okay. Okay, I cannot position this, that's a shame. But I can if I'm back in the warp room. No, I cannot. This only works in the... I always like to be in the middle. Because I've got balls. I've got ballsies. I've got the ball. I've got the ballsies. Okay. You know, I'm an oceanic, you know, instead of oh shit. Oceanic. I mean, just think about how much... Oh wow, okay. Restart time trial. I mean, just think about how much I had to change in order to be able to continue producing content for YouTube. Or not for, on YouTube. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. I'm not doing this for YouTube, right? I'm doing this for myself, yeah. I need that one. I'm not totally selfless. I have a self and I have desires. And I can realize now that I'm living in a society that repressed me or oppressed me, right? I mean, there's several ways. I mean, you can say repressed, you can say oppressed. You know, there's all kinds of ways of saying this. And then I can blame it, you know, if I bump into this bomb, then I can blame it on the bomb or the ocean and say, it's your fault, you know, because you were there, I had to bump into you. Well, that's not entirely true because, I mean, I was ignorant of your presence, or I didn't pay attention. It's not just about ignorance. You know, I was ignorant of your presence because I didn't pay attention because I was too much concerned about myself. So I didn't watch out for other people. And other people are there, you know, no matter how much you're trying to ignore it. But other people are there. And if you fail to recognize it, that there's not just you here. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, I missed these. Okay, I'm just gonna go to the end. Actually, I want to redo it. Okay, so if you fail to recognize that, you know, all these obstacles, let's say that's people on your way to enlightenment. You know, some people can help you to slow down time. You know, if you are in bed with a beautiful woman, you know, whatever beautiful means to you, that's highly subjective. Some people like thick women. Some people like really thin women. I mean, like thin as a stick. You know, some women like women, some men like men. Okay, that's something I had to understand. that... I never get that one. Well, that's alright. So everybody's different. And that's the trouble. I mean, that's the struggle to acknowledge. Okay, there are people... Hey, that boosted me. There are people, you know, there are men that like men. I think it's disgusting. I mean, for myself. Because I don't want to stick my dick into an asshole. Yeah, okay, that's because it is a cloaca. You know, it's an exit. Yeah, okay, so is the vagina. But I am not putting my penis into the place where the pee comes out. You know, it's penis. Did you ever realize that? Hey, bam! Right, I'm not putting my penis into the place where the pee comes out. No. I'm putting my penis into the place where the life energy enters into the body of the woman, into the womb. Because where the urine comes out is not the place where the life energy flows into. It's where stuff is being discarded. Oh. Maybe that's a faster route. We'll see. We'll soon find out. Okay, that's an important fact. Watch the movie Captain Fantastic. That has nothing to do with Marvel. That's about a father with, I think, 6 or 7 children, and they lose the mother. Yeah, is that much faster? Well, I don't think so. Okay, let's just do it. I'm just trying to get gold here, you know, I'm trying to be really good now. Yeah, I'm trying to be really good now. That's the Christian. Okay, I'm jumping round and round again. You know, it's not my job here to be like, to always keep all my shit together. Okay. Let's just think about it. I really want to slackline because the weather looks promising. So why am I wasting my time playing computer games? Maybe I'm just stretching time out a little. Okay, stretching time out. You're in bed with somebody you find beautiful. A woman, a man, right? Let's just keep it nice, right? I mean, let's say you've got children. Spending time with your children helps you to stretch out time. You know, you're spending your day making waffles, right? And maybe, okay, where do pedophiles come from? It's basically this kind of possessive greed. What does that mean? Okay, a child is a pure soul, right? It comes to the earth, you have a little baby, and it's pure and it's full of light and it requires your protection. You know, if a child wants to survive in this kind of world, it requires the protection of somebody who figured out how to live. Hey. And now we live in this society that's not always nice or gentle. So, wow. Right? This kind of society also produces children like the lost children, right? Children that had no fathers, children that had no mothers. And if you grow up to be, you know, an adult, or, you know, let's say you have been mistreated as a child, right? You've been mistreated as a child, and now you suddenly find yourself in the position of being a parent, or you just find yourself surrounded by little children and you feel like, you know, you're sick. And what is sexuality? It's healing. You know, I'm not trying to explain pedophiles, but actually I am. Because that's something we have to understand. There's no use in simply judging people that are pedophiles or that want to receive healing from children, because it's a sick mind that looks for sexual pleasure in a child. That's what you have to understand. Now, I think there's lots of people who look at children and have sexual thoughts. I'm just saying, you know, I'm just saying this because I had it. But it's a choice, right? Because how can you get sexual, I mean, this is something that happens because you and I agree, hey, let's make love together and have a child. You cannot have a child with a child. So you have to grow up. You have to take responsibility. And that's the challenge, because being with a woman, that's a challenge. I mean, I'm telling you, because it is like that. Being with a woman, that's a challenge. Like a real life challenge. That's a real challenge. And it takes patience and practice and learning how to understand each other. Like, how do you think okay, you either accept the challenge or you just stay sick. Now, I've said a lot of things where people can really judge me for, where they can say, oh wow, he just said that, you know, he just said that he sometimes had. Let's just, you know, this is a very tough topic. If I say here, yeah, I sometimes do have, or I had, sexual thoughts with women. Also with men. I also had them with animals, and I also had them with children. But I simply made a choice to not. I even had them with family members. But I simply made the choice, like a conscious, an active choice, to say I choose to wait for a woman that wants this with me. And we all have problems. We all have weird thoughts. But the question is, you know, how much do you lump your self-responsibility like, it's always self-responsibility. You know, this, you know, I can't believe sometimes the way I, you know, the things that I say. But then I say them anyway. And then for a while I'm afraid. But me, it helps me. Let's say somebody has these sexual thoughts with children. The only way to free yourself is to open up about them. But the problem is now, if I open up about this, people are going to you know, people know, I'm wasting so much time to get 4 seconds. You know, if you say this, in this kind of society, people are gonna be like, oh my god! They're gonna judge you. Why do they judge you? If they would understand the way you feel, yeah, that's why they judge you. Because they can actually relate to it, and that scares them. Because they think nobody should talk about it. But what if I talk about it? Well, then people are going to point their finger. Anybody who points a finger actually feels the same way. That's the fact. You know, because the reason that they point the finger is because they're trying to get you away from them. It's like people that sit around like, oh, how can you say that? It's like, what? That's like being stuck up on being righteous and all. No, this is complicated stuff. Okay, wrap your head around it. How often you have, you know, this is about being honest to yourself. This is about being honest to yourself. Like, completely honest. Like, no bullshit, no hiding your demons in your closet. It's about saying, all right, I have demons and I learned how to deal with them, right? I have masturbated, and opening up to the fact that I've done so actually helps me to let go of it. You know, that's one of my secrets of just being open about everything and hiding nothing. Right? Hiding nothing. Because if you hide it, you know, it can control you. No. And when it controls you, you're basically its bitch. Worth the wait, man. And when you are its bitch, then it has a grasp on you. So you may have thoughts that are weird. You know, I've been honest about this, that I've had and still sometimes have suicidal thoughts, but I don't give into it. Now, some people already, just because I talk about it, may be like, oh, he's got suicidal thoughts. Yeah. So do a lot of people. And when I mention it, everybody's like, why? If you react like this, I'm fairly sure that you have it yourself. Because if you judge it, you're trying to, you know, just trying to take the other side. You're trying to take the other side. And if you're trying to take the other side, then I can be fairly certain that, you know, you are on the other side. You know, you're just trying to make it look like you're better than me. Because you're afraid of being judged, and everybody's afraid of being judged. Now, I feel like you still have to be careful about this. You still have to be careful about this in a certain way. Right, so question, who do you open up to? Who do you open up to? That's a tough one. And I think nobody can really say that to you, right? Who do you open up to? Well, I don't talk about to everyone about these things. But yeah, sure, I mean, in a way I do, right? In a way I do. I just have to orient myself. You know, to some people maybe, you know, I think like, okay, I'm just going to talk about maybe cannabis. Okay, right, to some people maybe it's, you know, it's already enough to talk about topics like cannabis. Okay, I have till 2:08. Alright. Peace out. Thank God. I couldn't stand doing that one again. I'm really ripping my heart out here. And that hurts. I'm just being honest, I'm just being open. I have a shadow, here it is. I learned to deal with it. Are you gonna learn to deal with yours? And that's the challenge, you know? Oh wow. Oh wow. I made it. Cool. That's the challenge. I'm just gonna save it. Just see how many percentage that is. 93. That's a reoccurring number in my life. Okay. I don't know why, but I feel a little bit better now. I mean, I've seen family members, like, I've had a very, oh wow, holy shit, that's crazy. I have a troubled, sometimes I had a troubled relationship with my father because sometimes, what? Oh fuck. Okay. I feel like I had a troubled relationship with my father. Oh wow. Shit. I mean, why? Because sometimes I brought home girlfriends and I could see him checking them out. I could see him checking them out, and I could see my mother kind of hating them, right? This is this kind of sick mother-child relationship that comes from children that have been raised with weird ideals. Okay, I'm just gonna focus on getting them right. yeah, getting all the crates is the next step. First it's getting all of these things. And that's why, to a certain degree, I have started to decide to reject some of the teachings that I received from my parents, like ideals that they have, right? Perspectives that they have, opinions, ways that they live. Because I have been raised by them. And their parents came out of, you know, times of war. They came out of times of war. And that means they had already weird ideals. Because their parents came from times where, you know, people were manipulated into thinking, you know, there's this kind of enemy, we have to kill them, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And now, my parents were raised by parents who came out of times of war, which means that these were troubled times. Okay, now I have to get all crates. Okay. Shit. Now why can't I just repeat this? Actually would be interesting. Yeah, I don't want to do this again. And that means I have to constantly check how do I see other people, because there are so many ideas and beliefs that we have. And all I can do is I'm basically doing psychotherapy for myself, right? And I'm doing so by paying attention. How do I feel about myself? How do I feel about my surroundings? How do I feel about, I don't know, family, children? How do I feel about meat? You know, that's also a big one, because, right, I don't want to live my life in a state of disgust. So if I go to a barbecue and people eat meat, right, I don't want to spend my time there lecturing them about it. But if the topic does come up and people ask me, you know, I want to be able to just say my piece without having them undermine me. Wow. Crap! That was exactly one. Hey, cool, look at this. You know, who could have said? All I had to do was go back. Look at my smile. You know, you can just go back. I thought you could just go in one direction. Huh? I didn't do the time trial. I think. No. Alright. Now for the last one, I think. And there's always the possibility that there's still something after this. And I literally do not recall. this one. Now I assume there's not going to be... Okay, so it's up to you. If you want to be happy, you have to work with this shit. You know, if you have sexual thoughts for anything that you think you shouldn't have for, because, you know, it's so fairly easy to realize, you know, what's good, what's not good, right? A child cannot say yes or no. Not really. Right? A child, you can only force yourself because a child is not able to open up. Not in a sexual way. So you can already see, okay, it's sick. It's sick, and that's why, I mean, it's not really a choice. Right? And I don't want to create, oh, that's really a race, I didn't see that. You know, I don't want to create suffering for someone else just because I feel unhappy. And I have done so. I have created suffering for other people because I felt unhappy. And I just didn't want to do that anymore. I just didn't want to do that anymore. And that's a choice then. Krass. I did not get the relic. I have to check what's the required time. Because I honestly don't understand how I'm supposed to do this faster, and I'm already doing it. Like, how am I supposed to do it faster? 120, are you sick? I mean, that's 2 seconds. How am I gonna get 2 seconds? Because I cannot stop the time, I think. Right, nothing happens. I cannot shoot these down. So I just have to focus on getting these corners as fast as I can. But nothing stops the time here. I mean, this is like Michael Schumacher, right? Looking for the shortest turns. And that's what it means to me. I mean, I don't want to create hell for others. I'm just trying to live my life peacefully. And I've met people that wanted to create hell in my life. And I just said, yeah, I don't want that. Right? I don't want it. You know, I don't want this kind of relationship. You know, I don't want to live like this. I don't want to have another relationship that's just shit. And so I'm simply working how am I supposed to do this faster? Like, how am I supposed to do this faster? Is there something I'm missing? Just check this out. If I do this. Ah. Okay, so if I go through this and I do this. What was that? Something bumped me. But I don't have to do it all the time. Because I'm not gonna get that one otherwise. Okay, you see, it's a fickle topic. Any of these things. If you show people what you've got in your mind, people are going to judge you. Not because they actually judge you, it's actually because they judge themselves. They actually judge themselves. And most people, they just want to feel righteous, right? That's how science feels righteous about, right, the discoveries they think that they've made. Well, there are already other people who've made these discoveries, right? I mean, a lot of the stuff that science says, you know, spirituality already knows this, right? Spirituality already knows this, or has already said it, just in a different way. But science is so busy being right about stuff that they don't manage to basically... Okay, now I'm getting too fast. Take their head out of their rectum and simply say, okay, there are things that we don't understand. But science tries to claim, well, we understand everything. That's a problem. Because if you cannot say, okay, I think we don't know what's going on here, and we never knew what's going on, like, if you cannot say that, then nobody can help you. And that's like, it's not just science, it's basically everyone. But there are individuals, just like you or me, or other people, who simply start taking responsibility and saying, you know, I don't want to live like other people tell me to live anymore. I want to figure it out for myself now. And that's a challenge. Like, that's one of the toughest challenges, because you somehow have to orient yourself on other people. Like, there are parts I take from, let's say, Ramdas. There are parts I take from maybe Grandmaster Wolf. But that's only parts. So, in the end, I have to make a choice. Because I'm responsible. Well, yeah. Because I'm responsible for what's gonna happen in my life. And if I make stupid choices because I was ignorant, or I allowed myself to get riled up into weird ideologies, well, then I have to suffer the consequences, because all of us are also here on their own. It's not just about seeing yourself as a part of the collective, because there is, in that sense, you can say there is the collective, but there's also the collectives. So there's not just one beehive, right? There are several beehives. There's not just one ant colony. There are several ant colonies. And that's what we have to acknowledge, you know, that in the end you choose, you know, do you want to be part of the science hive? Or do you want to be part of the maybe spirituality hive? Or do you want to have one foot in the science hive and one foot in the spirituality hive? Well, that's for you to decide. And that's what it means. You have a choice. You have to choose. If you choose science all the way, then you will never know what it means like to open up and to feel, to really feel, consciously also. Right? You will never know what it feels like to retreat within and to be one with nature, because science has no interest to be one with nature, because science thinks it's above nature. And that, I would say, is a problem, right? And sure, I mean, this is like, it's very hard to go through life like really fast. And I'm certainly going through my problems faster than most people can finish their bowl of cornflakes. But then there may be people who are even faster than me. You know, I don't know. And it's hard to believe because I already feel like, you know, it's tough. You know, I'm not sure where I'm going with this all the time. But, you know, I'm going somewhere. And along the way, I constantly have to realign myself to get the next hoop. If you know what I mean. I have to catch all the hoops. And if I miss one, I have to go back, which is why I have to pay attention, right? And now I'm talking about this, and then I'm talking about that. But ultimately, you know, what are we really talking about? Okay, so there's a way of doing it faster. Okay, you just have to pay attention and you have to practice, right? Take a hoop, take a hoop, take a hoop. And then you have to start again if you screw up. So maybe every day you watch porn, it's a setback. Maybe every day you have vicious thoughts of children or life or anything at all, it's a setback, you know? It's something that's gonna throw you back. And that's then what we call a vicious cycle. Every time you try and you mess up, you know, you have to do it again. And, you know, in the end, I'm not sure if I have to do it perfectly. Do I have to have these all in gold? Well, I could just say, you know, I'm going to take my time with it. You know, I'm just going to take my time with it. And now you would think that just earned me 100%, but it did not. Because I'm still missing the green gem. You know, I get that. Oh, no. Okay, I've done these all, I've done these all, I've done these all, I've done. Now let's see. Because there was a green gem. Let's just check. So I never really won anything with flying colors, right? I never really won anything with flying colors. I always took my time. You know, when I needed help, I asked. But there are things that I just cannot, you know, nobody can tell me. Nobody can tell me what I'm supposed to do because nobody I know has been there. Nobody I know has been there. So I can look at people like Ramdas, but he hasn't been there in the way that, you know, I got there. You know, he lived his life. He was thrown out of Harvard. He went to India. Yeah, we all know that now. And then he met a guru. Question, have I met my guru? Maybe I have. And maybe I have not. Right? Maybe I have, maybe I have not. I know I met a man but I'll let you live. Yeah. I met a man who does his work. You could say he's my guru. Interesting. Right, he's someone that to a certain degree I think I can follow. But I also have the feeling, you know, he's not just following me, and I'm not just following him. I feel like, you know, we are just reasserting our path with each other. So if I feel like, you know, we acknowledge, I think, that we also can teach each other. And for that we have to let go of, you know, all these ideas that we have. Right? Yeah. I'm the teacher, you're the teacher, who's the teacher? I can learn from anyone. I can learn from anyone, and that's the challenge, right? To get to this place where you accept it, that I can learn from my neighbor, and sometimes I have to learn from their mistakes. And then I make sure I don't repeat them. And I do this always by, you know, looking at the scale of my own heart, right? My heart. It's what in right, in Egyptian mythology, you know, it's being referred to, you know, that they're going to weigh your heart. And you basically do that yourself every day, all the time. You know, you do something that's weird, well, it's gonna have a certain weight on you. Well, let's just go through these and see if I have it all. Actually interesting if you get 1 more % if you have all of them in gold. But I would say that's kind of insane. I think I'm missing one. Right, so if you do something, there's always judgment. If you thought you were good, you may realize at one point, oh damn it, I think I messed up. And let's say you're in a love relationship with someone, or you think you are. It's not just you that messes up the relationship. It's impossible. Because love between a man and a woman is something that goes, you know, you give me, I give you. I give myself, you give yourself. But the way it looks to me is I have them all together. Which is why now I should have 100%. But it also might be that there's still an extra. Okay, 97. Question, am I missing something? Let's just check this one again. I think what I want to do is... Ah, whoa, oh, wow. Didn't do this one. That's the 3%. Okay, just remember... Yeah, she never saw that fly away. At all. Gosh, this almost seems like slow motion to me. So, if somebody would come to me and say, "You've said this," then I would say, "Yeah, I know." And then they would try to make it a problem for me, and I would say, "Yeah, but you get it. I've already sorted this stuff out for myself. So what's the point of you trying to make it a problem for me, because I've already acknowledged that I have this in myself, and because I've already acknowledged it, you know, what's the point of you trying to loom it over me? Because I've already worked with that. I've already worked with the shame of feeling like, you know, there's some kind of sexual desire with whatever. You know, I've already worked with that. You know, I've watched animal porn when I was a child. You know, and I had to deal with that. Alright, and I've done it. You know, I've done it. I've dealt with it. And I realized, well, what's the point? I mean, what's the point? There is no point. Because I cannot procreate with a child, and I cannot procreate with an animal. And, right, if you're trying to do this, then you're sick. And then you either give in to the sickness, which is the symptom of a weak mind, or, yeah, or you simply learn to heal yourself. And you go into nature, and you, to a certain degree, run away from this. But it's not running away from it, it's actually running towards the part of yourself, or the version of yourself, that is wholesome and that shows healing instead of more destruction. And that's the challenge. That's the challenge. You know, that's the part in yourself that you have to overcome. The version of yourself that you judge as sick. Well, if you judge it as sick, then why don't you engage with it and see if you can, you know, do something else with it. Transform it into something else. Because that's the challenge, right? Instead of giving into the sickness, you say, I choose healing. And now the good question is, of course, always about what is sick? Well, that's what you have to figure out, man. that's what you have to figure out. What is sick? Well, just look at it. So you can ask yourself, well, why is it sick to sleep with your siblings? Well, that's a tough one. I think, you know, just... Well, all you can do is look at people who've done it and then realize, okay, they look sick, they feel sick, it's actually disgusting. And then understand, okay, but why is it sick? Why is it disgusting? Well, figure it out. Why is it sick? Why is it disgusting? Why is it sick? Why is it disgusting? Because it's simply that. It simply is that. It's sick, it's disgusting. But why is it sick? Why is it disgusting? You know, I've heard of people that married their own cousin. Right? That's like a different culture, right? Okay. How closely related was that cousin? How closely related was that cousin? That's an important factor to consider. Why? I think it's that nature. Families are supposed to disband. Well, families are supposed to disband, which means you're supposed to leave your group. So, in a way, this idea of accumulating in a tribe, it is not that people all stick with each other in the hive or in the tribe. So when there is a queen being born, then this queen also, right, if there's a hive with a queen already, and then the queen is a new queen is being born, then this queen will leave the hive and build her own hive. And that makes sense. But the question is why? I don't know, man. Like, this is too complicated. I'm just trying to look at... Yeah, you have to go before I start this. It's just... This is what I mean with personal choice also. Right? It's not all just... It's not all just about what other people think. Right? It's not all just about being as fast as you can be. Hey, I thought I was avoiding that. But, I mean, I've already made my choice, right? I wanted to leave the hive, and so I've done that. Right? You also have to emotionally leave the hive. Because if you cling, and that's the thing, I mean, I just feel like there's nothing in it for me in certain places. There's just nothing in it for me in certain places. Where I say, yeah, okay, you know. And that's where we come to this kind of spiritual truth, where I can say, okay, I realize there are people who need an entire group to help them. And then there's people like me. Oh, wow. Who are kind of good on their own. I mean, who can spend their days alone at home and create content. Yeah, this does not solve the problem of incest, you know. We all kind of seem to agree, and now we come maybe to something that you may call a universal law. It's somebody informed me about. It's like the basic rules of the universe. And maybe that's simply what you get from nature, right? Nature says there's a left, there's a right, there's a middle. Does nature say that? Or do we say that? There's some things you just know. And you can use words to argue your way around it. But in the end, yeah, what's the point in getting these? Alright, there's a... You can argue about it. Or you can just accept it. So I stopped hugging my family. Why? Because I just don't want it. That made no sense. Right, I want to hug one woman. Right? That would then be the mother of my children. That would then be the mother of my children. And right, if my parents need me to hug them, they should just start hugging each other again. And that's a fact. Because I've seen what parents that cling to their children does to the children, but also to the children, you know? My life is all about letting go. Letting go of, you know, my own judgment. But also letting go of computer games, probably, at some point. And when do I reach that point? Well, I've already reached it to a certain degree. I'm just doing this for completeness. Right? This is... I don't know. Yeah, I'm just trying to get more followers. But don't expect me to do this for the rest of my life, because I have no intention to do so. Because, you know, this is just a way out for me. This is my way out. And I'm just introducing versatility to show, you know, I can do this. But I can also go out into nature. Right? I can also go out into nature. And okay, I'm trying to compensate for something here. Maybe this is just my gigantic ego trip. But I don't think it is, because I mean, if this would be an ego trip, I would have already stopped. Because nobody seems to like me. And that's a fact. See, that makes no sense. Okay. I just want to keep this thing so that I can have 3 of these masks. Yep. Oh, that lasts quite a long time. Whoa, shit! Did you see that? That was so stupid. Hey, that was the first time. But now I know that I can do it right. And that's the point. You know, it's like, I can do it on my own. Which means that if there's a woman, I think we can do it together. But for that, the woman also has to know how to do it on her own. Right? It's not just about, yeah, I can do it on my own. No. Ah. Right? It's also about, okay, but can you do it on your own? And then if we both can do it on our own, then we can get back together. And you know, I assume it's also different for, let's say, Jaime Lannister, because he just felt attracted to his sister. But they kept their love secret, right? I don't want to keep my love secret. I want to be able to openly show it, because I would like to have a family that grows up in harmony and not a kind of sick family. And that's probably also... no. I'm just gonna get this right the way I want to do it. Because if the father wouldn't have been so... Nope. No, no, no. So, if the father, Jaime Lannister, Tywin Lannister, would have taken more time for his family because he already had money, but he was power hungry and he wanted to own the crown. And now there was love between his 2 children, and they're twins. And maybe it's important to know how twins feel. Because, I mean, they've been in the womb together. And there are something that, fuck, you can call twin souls. Right? I don't really know if that exists. How did I just make that? How did I just do this? It's just left, right, and then through the middle? He's just like a... Okay. Right. Sometimes you just have to feign ignorance until you see a chance for yourself. Just play a bit dumb sometimes. And, you know, when people start to like you or something, you know, you just show them, oh, okay, you know, that's what I was on about all the time. So you can act like you're super nice. You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, let's just try this. Let's just try it. Because maybe I'm just trying to be overly perfect. Yeah, now I'm getting another chance. Yeah. I'm just confusing you. Because I know universal law, okay? There is a good, there is a bad. I like harmony. And incest feels disgusting. You know, no matter how sexy, but that's also, you know, you can't... I mean, what's the point of judging it? Let's say Jaime and Cersei Lannister. I mean, they just wanted to be close to each other. And I know twins, how they feel about each other. You know, it's basically hell, you know? Because you came into this world together and suddenly you're being separated. And there's a question of whether or not anybody should judge them. Like, why? Because what that could also be is jealousy. You know, if you find someone and you really love that someone, other people are going to try to destroy it. You know, I've found that already. That I met someone and there was love between us, and other people were trying to get in between, right? Just like, oh, how long do you know each other already? It's like, hey, my name's Christopher, we just met. And the first thing you ask me is how long I know my girlfriend or whatever. And she's like, oh, it was just, you know, no. You were trying to get information about our relationship that's not yours to have. And so you have to learn to protect the love, but you also have to learn to set boundaries. Because if your sister is sick, she's maybe sick, right? Well, then you have to make a choice, and you have to see that she's sick. You know, I can't help it. If you have a sick mind, that's your problem. If you've been born with a sick mind, or your sibling, then, you know, one of us has to deal with it. And that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. One of us has to learn how to deal with it. Or I get drawn into your sickness. Or I get drawn into your sickness. Kaboom, yeah! Nobody messes with the mask. Cool. That was worth the struggle, right? You just have to face off the sickness of other people. You know, sick ideas, you know, there are pedophiles, alright. Do you want to be one? No. Maybe you hear pedophile thoughts of other people, alright. Then how do you deal with it? Well, you simply make your own choice. Because if you look at these men or these women, then what you have to understand is that they're sick. They're like really, really sick. 99? Am I still missing something? Well, now there's a good question. What happens if I go on this now? Because there's 1%. Like, what's the 1%? What's the 1%? I have all of these. 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 99? Didn't I just check all of them? Okay, apparently there's still something missing. Let's just go. Oh god. How? And that's what I sometimes have to deal with. Right? Sometimes I just have to deal with a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Other people that are sick. I'm just gonna keep saying that, right? Other people that are sick, that don't want to acknowledge it. And why are you sick? Well, I don't know, right? Well, I can know, I can look at it. But most people that are sick, they don't want to acknowledge it. Because, you know, everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to look good. But if you hide your sickness, and, you know, I come from a history of porn addiction, so I know how sickness looks like in myself. And all I can do is learn to deal with it. Right? And once, if you don't have all the crystals here, you won't be able to pass through it. I'm just doing this because I'm not sure if there is a get all the nitro crates in the end. So a sick mind. There's a lot of really sick people. And when you look at, let's say, you know, I've been on odyssey.com. I also thought, well, maybe I'm gonna create content for them until I've realized well, I'd rather not, because there's some really weird people on this. Because they've been discarded from the general public, if you will. Wow, I haven't been here. Because, you know, they were reluctant to change. And I've changed because I realized I was, in a way, you could say, I was sick, but I wanted to heal. This is not just about... Ah, cool. That's the one. That's it, 100%. Which is interesting, because I thought oh, now I have to do that one again? Yeah, I first want to save and just look at 100%. It's interesting that I have to do it again now. Well, maybe I don't have to. That's insane, 101%? How do you know it's over then? You know, if it goes past 100%, then I may get 105 or 107. Like, where's the end? Like, why do I have to do that one again now? Just because I'm playing the last level of the world? Yeah, okay, let's just do it one more time. Just to see if I got better at it now. Just for a feeling of completeness, if you know what I mean. Plus, I've already done it, which is why I should be better at it now. Which doesn't mean that it's still annoying. But now I've started, I feel like I owe it to myself to also continue. Okay, I know already they start in the middle, and then they go first to one side, and then the other. It's just repetition, right? And that's why sex started to become a little bit boring. Because it was so predictable, and you know, the women that I met never really wanted to, right, they never really wanted to love me, because they were so busy judging me. Okay, that was relatively easy. Okay, we've done that. But I haven't heard this one. You see, that's different. The first time, this did not happen. And now, like, I really screwed you. And it's the challenge. If you have done weird things in your life, learn to live with them. You know, facing off evil is...
Give me the mask! Would you like to take over the world? Come on!
Yeah, that's politicians, right? That's politicians. That's politicians, my friend.
I want to be powerful. I want to have the stick.
You know, I just looked for my own mask. And then I try to work with it. Everybody wants to look like, you know, you can look like, because we all put on masks, right? We all put on masks. I have one, you have one, everybody has one. I just started to choose the mask that I'm wearing. I've seen people that wear masks that look so nice. But when you really get to the bottom of it, they're like, I've seen people throw me faces that were, to say the least, disturbing. Like, really disturbing. They don't show that to anyone. But I managed to get people to show me what they're hiding. And once they show me that stuff, they start to feel ashamed. And that's the thing, now two are fighting over it. And that's maybe why politics is good, because the power is being distributed. Like, you don't have one dictator that stands on top and says, you know, I'm gonna rule you all. No, it's like politicians, it's kind of separated. Because if you just have one guy, the likelihood that, you know, maybe the first guy is gonna be alright, the second one is also gonna be alright. But then maybe the third one is starting to get greedy, and then he's gonna change. Instead of electing a king, he's just gonna say, no, my children will be king. And then the incest starts. And you just only marry your cousins, right? Because you only want to marry in your own thing, in your own culture. And I see there is a point of marrying I think there is a point of marrying also women from different cultures, if you feel drawn to it, just to spread, right? I don't know if you know, that's a tough one. That's what everybody has to choose for themselves, right? So I probably, for me, it would be very hard to fall in love with a really, really like deep tribe African woman. I think. I've never tried, to be honest. But there's certainly, I feel more attracted to, you know, white or Caucasian, or however you want to call that, women. But I've also never been introduced to anyone where I felt like, okay, she really interests me. Okay, now I've done that again. I just want to save. Okay, so 101. And now that's done. That was this game. I've played it all. 43, 25, 28, okay. Okay, that's it. Cheers! I could say thank you for watching, you know. To me, it's weird to speak about these things. But my position is fairly straightforward. It's like, just watch it. Just look at it. I mean, what does the Game of Thrones series really say? I mean, there's so much blood, but little healing. Plus, he never finished it. And he's really obese. I mean, I don't want to pick on obese people, but to me, it just gives you a hint. Because people who are obese, they're just holding on, right? And my life is about letting go. I don't need to hold on. I want to let go. And I'm just trying to fine-tune that process. So, because if I let go all the way, I'm just going to leave. And what I hear about what Ramdas says, there's a lot of yogi that just die at the age of 30, and that's a critical point. Because it's actually being on the verge of becoming a man, and if you're too childlike on your spiritual path or something, you're like, oh, it's so nice, you're just gonna leave. Because you have to be grounded and down to earth. It's not just about meditating until you're done, but if you feel like it, I don't know, right? There's people who do this, and it's still hard to get there. So maybe you don't have to stretch it out. I feel like stretching it out is some kind of hell, and then it's heaven again. I sometimes wished I could have left earlier, but I'm still here, so I have to figure it out, Maybe there are still things I have to do, and then the question is, why? Do I have to do them? I cannot say, because I feel like there's something I can do. I can talk about topics that are really uncomfortable, and I can stand being judged, because I know that apart from talking about it, I know what I'm going to do. Not always, but there are certain things where I simply said no to, which are certain drugs, which are certain people, which are certain ideologies, which is the idea of a class. But I do recognize that there are people who need guidance. I need guidance in a way, but I also actually don't. I can figure it out for myself, but then there's people who need someone to listen to that's alive. I'm okay to listen to people that are already gone, like Ramdas or Terence McKenna. They can teach me a lot of the stuff, and the rest I just want to figure out for myself, right? There are people who don't want to figure out stuff for themselves. That there are people that just want to hear what other people have to say. And that's okay, We cannot be all the same, so there are differences, even in nature. There are dolphins that are more aggressive, and then there are dolphins that are more gentle and shy. Why is it like this? Because everything needs to be in balance. If we're all aggressive, it's just going to be war. If we're all shy, nobody's going to survive. You have to have certain beings that just push through. And that's when we talk about things like the revolution. The system itself has a very oppressive nature. It's like, we're going to press you, we're going to keep you down, so the system can be there all the time. But there are people who want to be free. There are strong spirits around that do their work. It's not just about being oppressed and being forced to do things and just, bend over. And no, there is a way of living that's different from what's been propagated by the mass media. There's a different way of living than what you're being shown. And that's something you can only find if you start opening up. And then just see what happens in your life. But also maybe make a choice, right? To me, these things, they just came to me. But I also was open. And when they came to me, I accepted them. But then I still had to test myself. Who is this guy really? Can I trust him? Well, to a certain degree, I could. But I'm not a follower. Like I said, I'm a fall runner. That's why I like jump and run. I run. I'm the one that wanted to escape. Already from a young age, I wanted to escape. I wanted to escape. I wanted to escape. And I found ways to escape. And I found people to support me. Because they saw I was onto something. And I've helped a lot of people already. That's just what it is. And that's all there is to it. Oh, that was 2 hours. Cheers.